Hi, I'm Omkar Chebale. I have successfully completed the technical assessment challenge. The goal is to create HubSpot OAuth integration uh, flow with fast API, Redis, and React. So I have pre-filled some fields and choose the integration type of HubSpot and connect to HubSpot. Instantly, HubSpot slash authorized API is being called on button click, and in that response, we got a URL which is help us to create a new window, open a new window, and connect our existing HubSpot account to our system. And I'll connect it, and after successful connection of our HubSpot account with our system, instantly a frontend will call a new API, that is HubSpot slash credentials, with a payload of user ID and organization ID, and in a response we will get the credentials which is being returned by the HubSpot. So with those credentials we will call a new API which will help us to load the data of HubSpot account. So the URL or the API is HubSpot slash load, which accepts a payload of credential, and we will send the payload which we got from the slash credentials API. And with those we got a response of all the contacts available on the account that was. So the flow is that our front end calls the server, which is our fast API server, and that fast API server will call the HubSpot server and fetch the data from their server to our server, and our server will serve the data to our client. So this way the whole flow is goes with it, and it's a very secure way to uh, handle the authentication in an app where the most of the credentials are being stored on the server side, and client does not need to face the security challenge. So it's the best. Now we will uh, uh, move to the or understand the code behind this system. So how it is working, the APIs behind it, and the front end, how it is everything working. I have polished the UI so you can see that, and I love to play with it. So you can see that we have 4 APIs which are able to handle the authentication part of the system. That is, first API is slash authorize, then auto callback, then hotspot slash load, and then credentials. So first API we will see that slash authorize in a HubSpot file, that we are loading this secrets from the .env file, and in the authorized slash HubSpot function we are returning an URL. So this URL is being able to help us to generate a new window with a specific URL. So with that URL we will open a new window on our client side, which will help the users to connect the HubSpot account to our system. Then after successful connection of the account, that is being done by this HubSpot slash OAuth2 callback, which is the next API call, which is internally done by, and it's a redirect URL that you can see in our HubSpot redirect, which is handles the authentication parts in our server side. So what it does, it gets a query code and encode parameters, then we make a token data out of it and get the Redis state. After based on that we will make a request to the hubapi.com api.hubapi.com to authenticate it and delete a Redis key which is stored on the hit of authorized API. So after that getting, we will add a new value to our Redis uh, server, that is HubSpot slash credential, and store the response of this response of the API call. And after that we will returning HTML content, which will after what it does, after successful connecting to our app, this is returns a script, that is window.close, which will automatically closes the window. So it's a good user experience. And after that we will call a slash credentials API, which will help the client to get the credentials on client side. So in this API, so yes, this is it. So in this API, we are just fetching the data from our Redis server and returning it in a returning it to the API response. So and deleting that key or the data from the Redis server, so that security could increase here. And after that, the next fourth API is HubSpot/load, which is helping us to load the contacts from the HubSpot server. So yeah, so we are doing that as well with the successful integration of or using of 4 APIs on our backend side. So after that we will move to the front end part. So now let's walk through the front end code. So we have integration form component, and in it we have a array which is helping us to select the integration type, and based on that we will be running a specific component, that is HubSpot integration. I have taken a full reference of Airtable and Notion .js files. So where in a JSX we can see that we have a button known as connected to HubSpot, that whenever we click on it we will make a API call with the help of Axios library, that is, and we will send the data which is getting in the form, that is user ID and organization ID, in the form of a form data object, which is a key value pair, and we send that data to our HubSpot/authorize API, and this function is being, just we have seen that it returns a URL. So we got a response.data, and with that auth URL we are opening a new window and giving it a title of HubSpot authorization and one more prop, that the which is used to define the height and width of the window. So and after that we are calling a new function, that is handle window closed. After the window being closes, we call a new API which is HubSpot/credentials with the payload of form data type, form data object, that is user ID and organization ID, and based on that we will get the credentials from the server, which is provided by the HubSpot account. With the help of that we can load the data uh, of the specific account. Yeah, so we go getting the response from this HubSpot/credential, and credentials are being used here. Okay, and now in the data form object, so all the states are being handled in this parent component, so we can access those uh, states or the values from the values in the data form. So based on that we are integration type dot to lowercase. So integration type is whatever the integration type, such as the Notion, Airtable or HubSpot. So HubSpot is connected, then HubSpot/load, then if the Notion is, then Notion/load is being used here dynamically. So we will make a form data request with the credential key, and we will send all the credential that we have got in the response is being sent in a JSON.stringify form. So and we are properly doing error handling here, and based on when a data load data from where it is clear data and load data. So whenever we click on the load data, so a new the API is hit at /load, that is integration type /load, and we got the data, and the data is being set in the set data, and this state is being used to map over the multiple map over that array, and we will show that data on our UI, just like how we can see at here. So I'll click on the clear data and load data. So actually we have got the credentials. So credentials we have, then we can successfully get the data, and we are um, sending these credentials in the form of JSON with the credentials key, and in a response we got the data from the HubSpot server. First the HubSpot will serve the data to our backend server, and backend server will serve the data to our client, which is in React. So yeah, this is how the front end We have successfully seen the front end, back end, and the UI. We have successfully completed the HubSpot OAuth integration and its flow with the help of given tech stack. I love the project. I have learned a lot with it, and I have learned that how to handle authentication with the help of server, so that we don't need to expose our secrets on client projects. So that is a good approach, and I learned a lot with your existing code base and used that to fulfill the requirements. Thank you for that, and I'm looking forward to see you. And it's a new experience for me to record video like this. I have taken almost 100 retakes in it, so sorry for that. And looking forward to see you. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day.